It's gag order with Rubik's Cube, and we have
John Laspina, drums.
John the Machina Laspina.
Yeah! Keep forgetting.
Sherry Martirana, say that 5 times fast.
Not gonna. Alright.
Hey, I'm Tex, I'm on keyboard and sax.
Scott Lovelady, vocals.
Pemberton Roach, bass.
I'm Steve Brown, lead ripping guitar.
Even though we've heard you sing all night. Do you guys all accompany each other on mic, or is this just definitely the two lead singers?
No, we try and drown them out as much as we can.
That's awesome. I want to say thank you guys for letting us do this interview, but I do want to point out that I love the fact that you guys are an 80s cover band, because 80s seemed like the best time when everybody was more expressive and had the most fun. Why did you guys decide to do this?
Because it was the best time, because everybody was the most expressive and had
You're so right, though. I mean, it was the best decade of music. Everybody had money. A movie star was president. I mean, and the best part about the 80s, too, is it's not like most decades where there's one genre of music. There's subgenres within the genre of 80s music. So within 80s music, there's new wave, and there's hair metal,
And let's
there's
face it, they
dance
clearly
music.
had the best fashions.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say the visual element too, because of MTV and everything. It's just easy to look fun, you know.
So there's a long list of why the 80s were the best.
Well, do you guys try to infuse some of the current day music into your sets, or is it just strictly 80s?
Strictly 80s, however, we do have this segment of the show we call the Time Warp Song of the Night, and that's when we travel back in our DeLorean or our telephone booth time machine, and we go either back in time to a decade before the 80s, or we go into the future to another decade, and we pick one song that's not an 80s song. And it could be a song from the Killers, it could be Jackson 5, it could be just whatever fun,
As long as
awesome
it's not like a
song.
Lil Wayne song or something.
Never know.
You never know.
I'll
You
say
never
no.
But we haven't done Lil Wayne yet, though.
You
No, but we've
No.
got 15 minutes to
What
live.
if you're looking to burn everybody out and make people hate you?
No, the only rap we've done has been Sugar Hill covers or Melly Mel, Grandmaster Flash.
Oh, you mean rap?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's cool. That's awesome. We asked you earlier about the fashion. Where do you get your clothes? Because I mean, granted, the 80s happened, they've come and gone. A lot of people burn their stuff in effigy. So what happened? Where do you get your clothes?
Well, we all have an embarrassing amount of clothes left over from the 80s
We
that
do.
we have mined over the years, but we also got to give a shout out to a place in New York City downtown on St. Mark's Place called Trash and Vaudeville.
Yeah.
They have
Yes.
helped
Rock
us
on,
out
Jimmy.
for a long time, absolutely.
Jimmy is the man. If you want some kick-ass rock clothes, not even just 80s, Trash and Vaudeville is the place. But we go there, and then we go to vintage stores, we go to consignment shops, we go all over the place. We try to wear as much vintage stuff as we can.
Any place your grandmother would drop off her clothes. Yeah.
I'm gonna pop some tags.
Do you guys ever feel like one day you're going to start really, because I don't know if you guys necessarily have your own original songs, but do you want to start creating original music and getting that out there?
Steve's written a few songs.
We're in the process of it, yeah.
And do you
Eventually,
think
by
you'll-
2014 will definitely be the year we see some original.
You're gonna see originals vintage 80s.
Notice I said 2014, no beginning of middle, but at some point.
That's true.
I know,
He's right.
it sounds like it's a decade from now, but that's now, isn't it?
Yeah, it's pretty much now. But
Ridiculous.
How does that happen?
But do you guys
Scott
feel like-
wrote a couple songs too. I have too. So, but
Are you guys going to try to like use more of your original songs than the covers?
Well, we're going to try. We're going to see what happens. I mean, it's basically we're here about playing the 80s music, about playing the songs that people love and that they know and all that. And we're going to add some things in there. And, you know, if it works, it works. That's what we hope.
So do you guys feel as though your music speaks more to not just your generation, but to the generation that feels music isn't real anymore? Someone like, because again, in the 80s, everyone's saying for real. They play their instruments, and I know you guys have pretty badass musicians in the group.
I really
but
appreciate
do
you looked at me when he said that.
Yeah,
The problem is he separated bad and ass.
He saw someone with an actual instrument.
Yeah, that's why I was like, I'm just gonna go with
just
and of course the 15-minute drummer. He was going to town on that thing, so I was just like, all right, that sounds wrong.
wait, I have to go back to your question about your original songs.
Yes.
We actually do have an original song right now. We're working on other ones, but we have one called "Shakin' and Twistin'," and it's a song that we did in tribute to Chubby Checker, the one and only Chubby Checker.
Oh, really?
And it's a very 80s sounding song, but the whole song is a tribute to him. I wanted to mention that song because, not just because it's our original song that's out right now on iTunes, but because we love songs from all and music from all decades. And Chubby Checker, he's not from the 80s, of course. The Twist is over 50 years old now, but he's actually not in, believe it or not, he's not in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
No, it's
and it's not right. It's not right.
Most rockers in the
no, and it's a big political, you know, poo-poo thing. But we wanted to pay tribute to a living legend who is out there and touring and is awesome, and so.
Yeah, I saw him a couple of years ago. He did the Twist, and then he was like, "You want to do it again? You got to pay me." I was like, "No, I'm good." That's the first time.
Yeah, you're asking who appreciates the music though, but I'll tell you, man, when you come to the shows, you'll see kids from 6 up to, you know, people who are our grandparents digging this stuff, right? There's a reason stuff like "Don't Stop Believin'" is the most popular song on iTunes. This music, it transcends generations. You could be young, you could be old, you could be somebody who grew up in the 80s. It's just fun and great stuff.
Yeah.
All right, and we're getting closer to the end of the interview. So, what's your best show? What's the most amazing show you guys have ever had?
Tonight.
You're about to see it.
Our best show was tonight.
Yes.
And you're gonna live it very soon.
All right, and then what about your worst show?
We've never had a show we didn't like.
Okay.
What? That was an honest answer.
We don't need honesty, we need the upbeat, like the 80s, right?
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Edit that out. I'm sorry. One of our best shows, though, was last year on New Year's Eve. We played for the troops. We played in Kosovo and in Germany. And both of those shows were a really cool experience. And the only time, first and only time, we've had loaded weapons on stage with us, which was pretty cool.
In fact, everybody in the audience, the whole audience had loaded.
Yes, everyone. But it made me a little nervous that there were guys on both sides of me with their arms around me, jumping up and down to come on Eileen, and their loaded gun is rubbing up against my leg. I think it was a loaded gun. I'm pretty sure it was a loaded gun.
Rubbing against her, and it was a real loaded gun.
Yeah, it was actually a loaded gun.
Too much to do with that.
It'd been one of those shows I would have been like, "Hey, any songs you guys don't like?"
Exactly.
Across the board, like something I don't need to
I definitely
say.
felt like we had to play very well. Our life depended on it, literally.
That's awesome. Seriously, guys, is there anything you want people to know about you, just so when they're first checking you out? Those last words you just want people to say, like when they see your band, when they hear your music, what do you want people to understand about you guys?
RubixKube.com. RUBIXKUBE. That's what we want you to know. Just spell the name right.
All right. Is there anything else? Any words for your fans or for future fans?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's more, not just one word, but I want people to walk away with, wow, I just had an experience, a true 80s experience. And I want them to forget about their problems, and whether they lived in the 80s or not, I want them to walk away just with a smile.
It's nothing but a good time.
A pocket full of girls' phone numbers.
That's the only reason I'm pointing him out is because he has a lot of energy. He's been doing everything else that you guys have been doing. He punches up every segment. That's cool.
I tell you, man, you better watch yourself, man. Watch who you're talking to. It's on the king. King of the 80s, man.
Yeah, he's really animated. That's good to have.
It's the 80s Elvis right there.
Sorry, man. But thank you, really, like seriously, thank you very much for this experience that we're about to have, and we hope that you guys have many years of success.
Thank you so much, man. We love it.
Thank you so much.